What is up, guys? It's William Libby here. I'm gonna be doing an in the bag for a Gateway sponsored player bag. This is pretty much all Gateway except for one mold, and it's just a mold that I haven't found that Gateway can fill yet. Um, I'll be using the sorry, I'll be using the Discology OG V3 bag. We'll get right into it. We'll start off with my putting putters. I actually putt with the Pure White Wizards. I like the firmness, but really the grip of it's like unique. The Pure Whites are kind of like your sniffer plastic that you get from other brands, except for it has way better grip, and they have cool arts to them. Like I actually have these, like kind of Big Lebowski like bowling ones. I really like a lot. To the throwing putters slash approach. Actually, probably just by my biggest part of my bag. Let me get them all. So for the like a backhand, 300-foot dead straight shot, or like kind of like an upshot backhand, I actually bag a SS Wizard. I can put it on like this much hyzer, and they'll actually just flip up and go dead straight for 300 feet, or I can just throw it flat right here and it'll just turn right. It's very nice. It has a lot of glide to it. Those are the only Wizards I have in the bag. For my forehand plays, like upshots, I actually have a Glow Sure Grip Devil Hawk. And this one has been in my bag, believe it or not, for 2 years. You can kind of see it pretty warped. I can actually, like, if I forehand it like with a slight and hyzer, it'll actually hold for a while before biting and like slow drift into it. I can put it on hyzer and it'll somewhat pop up, push, and dump. I actually don't backhand this that often. I don't mind it in a backhand feel, but it's not what I prefer. This is primarily forehand. And for the beefier version, I got the NXT Devil Hawk. It's a lot beefier. I can put it on like a knife edge, and it'll quickly flex out. Or if I need something, I can like go around a tree with a hyzer and it'll dump. The NXT Devil Hawk's perfect. And I don't really backhand those because I have this, the NXT Houdini. This is my backhand version of that Devil Hawk. I can put it on a flex, and I know it's going to come out. I can throw it flat for like a dumping hyzer. It's a really overstable workhorse for my backhand. I don't prefer to forehand this. It's not as comfortable. It has like this little double bead. For my grip, I don't prefer it. I actually like thumb track with forehanding. But for backhanding over stability shots, it's like perfect for me. Onto my favorite mold that Gateway actually offers. It was the biggest surprise to me. The War Spear. This is an NXT War Spear. So if I want a shot that Wizard does, but shorter range and a little bit more overstability, it's a really good power control disc. I love backhanding these things. It has a puddle top and a very nice... it's a shaman bottom. So it has a very nice grip to it, and it feels perfect. And sometimes I'll pull out a forehand for this, because unlike the beat-in Devil Hawk I have, instead of it like slightly coming out, this thing will just hold and go and go and go and go and go, and it won't really come out. It's a true neutral to somewhat overstable. Like it'll fight out if you put enough height on it, but if you backhand it flat, it'll just go dead straight and then slowly drop. And for my flippier putter, I actually have a Sure Grip War Spear that I have beat in. I got a little warped, a lot of scuffs. I can put it on like a hyzer like this, and it'll actually flip up and drift to the right. You can see a little bit of that little bead up right there. And if I forehand it with like this kind of anhyzer, it'll actually flip up and then go left and then kind of come out on the left. So it's a good woods disc. This is the hidden gem that Gateway has that no one really talks about. It's always Devil Hawks, the Ghoul that came out, which are phenomenal molds, but I think the War Spear is so good and not talked about enough. Onto my mids, I actually only bag 2. I don't know if I have a third that's kind of utility. I don't really count it as a mid because it's a 6-speed kind of in between. But the NXT Element, it's a go-to woods disc for me. I'll put it on hyzer and it'll flip up, and it's just like that Wizard to where it'll go dead straight. This one goes probably like 70 feet further, so about 370 to 350. I'll put a hyzer and it'll flip and push dead straight. Or if I want to take the power down and I throw it like kind of flat, it'll get a good little S curve out of it. And if I throw it as hard as I can and I put it in the air with a little anhyzer, it'll just hold. It'll never flip over on itself, but it'll just hold and keep going. It's a good workhorse disc. The Warrior Diamond Plastic, it really overstable. I like to throw anhyzer shots that come out in flex. If I don't really like throwing hyzer spikes with this because I have a disc coming up for that. This thing I can throw flat. I know it'll push with some fade into it. It's a good wind disc as well. It has amazing glide. It says 4 glide. Honestly, you can put it as a 5 glide. It goes for a good while. I really like the Warrior. This disc is probably like my third most used disc in my bag for it being utility, which is kind of wild. It is the Demon. I have it in Hyper Diamond Plastic with the Team G stamp. It's a 6-speed, really overstable. I love this thing for forehands, which is so weird because it has a unique profile where it has like a little pop top-esque kind of thing to it, like a circle ridge. And you don't think you'd like it for forehands because, you know, with forehands you kind of want a flatter disc. But this thing holds this stability perfectly. I can chop on it. Big hyzer has got me out of trouble. This is what I go for if I want like a spike hyzer for a mid because it doesn't have as much glide as like that Warrior, but it digs pretty well. The plastic's fantastic. It's actually a hemp diamond. It feels amazing. We'll go to the fairways. This is I have 3 7-speeds. We'll go with least stable because that's the way I organize a bag. Least stable to most stable. A Saber. I got this disc and I didn't know what to expect yet. It has 6 glide. Has a pretty good dome to it. I actually can throw this on a lot of hyzer and it flips up and just rides right and it never comes back. It's very versatile in terms of shaping shots. You don't have to throw it too hard to get a lot of distance. It's pretty free distance on it. But for my like straight disc, this is the one mold I don't have in Gateway because I haven't found I can throw it on a baby hyzer and let it pop up and go dead straight, or I can just throw it flat and let it kind of like S in a way. I have a Disc Mania Instinct. It's I can just throw it. I know it's gonna go dead straight with a little bit of fade at the very end. It's pretty much like your T-Bird slot, your 7-speed. It's nice. I have a Hyper Diamond Blaze, and this is another one of those ones to where I got it and I didn't know what to expect yet, but it is really beefy for what I thought. I can actually forehand at this. I've never forehanded 7-speeds before, and it handles the forehand torque pretty nice. Backhands, it goes and it dumps hard. So you can put it on an anti-flex and it'll shoop, boop, come out pretty nicely. It's a pretty nice disc. I don't use it too much because the disc golf, I'm in Kentucky. It doesn't demand the shots for it, but if it's pretty windy, I'll pull this out to get that instinct kind of drive its headwind. On to the 9-speeds, which is my favorite speed of disc to throw. And I bag 4 of these. I have a Spear and the Diamond Metal Flake. And this thing, I can just rip hard on this much hyzer and it'll pop up and ride. It's a further going Saber. I can get this thing up to 420 feet if I give it the height to let it work. It's immaculate. If I have tailwind, I need a good like straight pushing forehand. I can actually put on this much hyzer and the tailwind will just flip it up and you'll see an S curve and it'll get you surprising distance, man. This thing is a bomber, and if you're a newer player, I recommend this above any other fairway. They're absolutely insane. I actually have 3 of those. In case I ever lose that one, I have a backup ready. All these discs, I have probably like 4 backups too. So it makes it easier. Okay, so now we have my blades. I bagged 3 blades. This is the nylon blade. And this one, I've beat it in, but it was actually somewhat neutral flight when I got it. I throw this thing on hyzer, and it'll just flip up, and it'll kind of go a little right, and then come out the end. I can throw it flat, and it'll hold right. It's not what I expected out of the blade, but this fills a slot that makes me so happy. An overstable disc that already flies neutral, because overstable discs feel the best in the hand. I'm not a big fan of understable disc feeling. I absolutely love this. This is my favorite disc in my bag currently. If I lost this, I'd be very, very sad. I have made so many great shots with this thing, and it just shot shapes so well. Now I have my Team Gateway. This is the diamond, and it has like a sparkle to it. Don't know if you can really tell by the camera, but it has like a glimmer. This thing is the flattest one I have. This is my primary forehand blade. I like to forehand it, and believe it or not, it doesn't go as understable as that. But I'll forehand it with a baby hyzer, and it'll flip up and push, and then go right. And if I backhand it, I know I can get a little pop out of it, and it'll push, and dump. It's one of those like great, like a neutral 0.2.5 to where you know you're getting the dump out of it, but it won't dump hard. But onto the last blade is my NXT Glow blade, and this thing is the meatiest out of all of them. You can, whatever you want to anhyzer it like this or chop forehand, it's coming out. This is what I've heard blades to be. It is very good. I don't have to use it that often, but when I do, it's always a pleasure because the blade just feels so nice in the hand. I absolutely love this thing. The blades are my second favorite mold from the Gateway collection. It was the biggest surprise to me when I joined the team. And then onto my drivers, and you'll know I have a favorite off when you see it. This is my driver collection. I have 7 drivers, but I only use 2 or 3 of them, honestly. So we'll start off with my understable ones. I have a Journey. This is a strict roller. This was actually given to me a couple months ago from a used box from the guy who runs our league. I can throw it with this much hyzer, and it'll flip up and hit a nice cut roll, and it'll just roll forever. Because it has a pretty like sharp profile to where it actually wants to roll pretty well, which is surprising for it. Yeah, it's just a roller disc for me. And then we'll get on to my ethers. I have 2 ethers. This one is the NXT ether. It's 165 gram. It's the lightest disc in my bag. This is I'm going like this, and it's going to flip, and it's going to hold right and never come out and go probably like 470, 480 feet if I put full power into it. This is a big bomber monster disc. This is my big distance drive disc that if I have to unleash, I unleash. Can't say enough about that. This is my NXT ether. This is a max weight. This one is a little bit more of a stable. I can throw it with a baby hyzer, and it'll flip up, and it'll just push, or I can throw it flat, and it'll actually give me a little right to left action. But this disc is actually primarily my forehand driver disc. It feels super comfortable in a forehand position, and it's really smooth. And this plastic, the NXT plastic, is probably the best plastic on the market. I love this thing so much, honestly. Can't say enough good things about it. My go-to driver, which is my everyday driver, I have a Spell. And I actually, believe it or not, was talking to the Gateway team captain, Kevin, and he sent me one of his Tour Series spells, which I'll get to. And I asked him if he had any beat-in spells that I'd pay for. I'd buy off of him, and he said for me to try this lightweight one. I haven't had much practice with it, to be fair. I've thrown it like twice, and it flies like a beat-in spell. But I'm gonna put some more practice into it. The NXT Light Plastic feels immaculate, and the spells are the best feeling drivers in my hand in the market. So I'm excited to get some more work with this. This one's in the bag to learn right now. And onto my hemp spell, my hemp diamond. I got this. I want to say a year and a half, 2 years ago, before I was ever sponsored by Gateway. I've always loved Gateway stuff. And so I have this one pretty well seasoned to where I can throw it on hyzer and it'll flip, push straight, and then dump. I can throw it flat, and it's kind of like that ether, except this one's the backhand version of it. I don't prefer the spell in a forehand, unless I want more of a dump, but the feel on the backhand is unparalleled to any other. This is my favorite driver in my bag. If I lose this, I'd be very sad. And I actually don't have a replacement right now for the hemp spell, especially with it being in my bag for 2 years. But yeah, I'll have to get another one. And of course, my overstable spell is the Kevin Fawdry, Fawdry spell, and it's the glow. This is the overstable spell. I can throw this as hard as I can. I can throw it flat. My natural release is actually a little bit of anhyzer. That's why I tend to like overstable discs. And it will just push and dump, push and dump. Of course, it's going to get that push out. It has great glide to it. This one has a very great dome to it that I really, really like. It's probably my second go-to driver behind the other spell. And then, of course, to end it all off, what's a bag with Gateway without a Spirits as a utility disc? This thing is board flat. You are getting no real distance out of this. But if there's a headwind, there's nothing you trust more than a Spirit to go left no matter what the headwind is. Or right if you're going a forehand. It is something I don't throw often. I actually broke it out twice in a round I had in Lexington a couple weeks ago. And it was a get out of jail free for me because I had to throw into headwind, had to throw it as hard as I could, and I knew for a fact that this would never put me in danger because I know where it's going to go. But yeah, that is my Gateway in the bag for the 2025 season. Every now and then I'll swap some molds out. I have a special shout out to, I have a super beat up eraser voodoo that I'll put in if I'm going to a course that I know I have to barely touch something on hyzer and it'll flip up and go right. And also I have more spears that if I need quicker rollers than that Journey gives me, I can put those in and cycle them. But these discs are my constants in the bag, and I don't ever take them out. But yeah, guys, I hope y'all are enjoying this season, and that's mine in the bag, and I hope y'all liked it. I'll have a great day.